Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this Williams Aztec pinball machine, and a customer brought us this and wanted us to fix it up. Well, I got the whole story finally. He bought it from the little old lady from Pasadena, and he played it at her house, and it actually still worked. It was just limping along, and he brought it to us hoping that we could go through it and make it right before he put it in his home. So on the first video, we looked it all over. I didn't know that it worked. Plugged it up, and the thing came right up. It's not perfect, but it is working. Okay, the second video, we worked underneath the playfield, in the bottom of the cabinet and the bottom of the playfield, and also rebuilt the chimes. And it's still working. But now we need to do the back box. Now, this particular game is missing the back door. So there's a bunch of dust on all of the wiring and everything. Typically, though, you don't have to trace down the wiring, but you run into a problem where it's hard to kind of tell the different colors apart. But in general, usually I don't have to do too much of that anyway. You just clean everything and it all starts working. But as I said, it's already working. So we're going to do kind of preventative maintenance on this one. He said he would like to get it where it takes quarters. It looks like maybe they have done something to make it free play. Let's see if I can figure it out. What have they done? Let's see if I can. That's stepping it up. That's stepping it down. Yeah, it's not on free play, or that part isn't. Okay, so basically as that goes backwards and the number goes down to 0, this little post here will open that switch. And when it does, there's two of them. One makes it where the start button doesn't work. And the other one, when it comes on, it turns on this light, which is the credit light. In some localities, it was illegal to say how many credits you had on the game for gambling purposes. So the thought was, and there was different laws all over the place, but these companies, they tried to work around all this stuff. So the thought was, if you, let's say you're really good, you're a pinball wizard, you win 10 free games on the machine, and they're a quarter a piece, that's $2.50 worth of games that you won. And then you turn to the guy behind you and you go, hey, there's 10 credits on this machine. See the number? It says 10. That's worth $2.50. Today only, I'm going to sell them to you for $2.25. And the guy would be like, take my money. And so you just made money gambling on the machine. Right? So that was their thought process. Now, a lot of these laws are completely ridiculous. But that's what they thought at the time. Now, another thing to keep in mind is they weren't necessarily worried about you doing that with one of these, for amusement only flipper machines. But the gambling machines that were more like the bingo machines, there was a lot more of that going on. So, and you had a potential to win a lot more games. It was literally gambling. So that law was meant to capture those machines being operated. So the way they went around that was they said, hey, you can't display on the back glass or anywhere how many credits are on the machine. And that way I can't sell my credits because I can't prove that there's 10 on it. So what they did in that instance was if this light was on, there was at least 1 credit on the machine. If the light was off, there were no credits on the machine. Look, people, don't try to make too much sense out of it. There is no sense to be found. But like I said, it was kind of because of some of the bingo machines and stuff. So, this thing is not on free play. One of the problems, though, is there's parts missing off the coin door. It's got both coin slots on the outside, but it doesn't have the chute on the inside. But it looks like, I think that's all that's missing, is this piece. So I might be able to track something like that down. This side would work once we put the coin mech back in it. this is crazy. So this is needed to attach to the coin mech. One of those is missing too. I may have a Williams door I can steal some parts off of or something. We'll see. So he would like for us to do that, to get it where it takes quarters if possible. So we're just going to do what we normally do back here. Work the stepper units and all of the relays, the Jones plugs, clean them, and then clean all of the score reels. Now, just to torture us, at some point Williams added an extra score reel. So usually there's 20 that you have to clean, or 16 that you have to clean. This one has 20 that you have to clean. What are they doing to us? But that's okay. And we found on a previous video where this wire had broken loose of that lug there. That's no big deal. We'll figure that out. So that's what we're working with, folks. I'm going to get the vacuum cleaner and vacuum it out a little bit, and then I'm going to clean the Jones plugs, clean these relays, and then we'll start rebuilding, not rebuilding, but cleaning up these stepper units, make sure they work all right. All right, so I did clean all the Jones plugs. They were already fairly clean, though. And so as I'm doing that, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm not going to have anything to show them on this video. I'll have to find something. Cleaned all the relays. There was one little switch that didn't look like it was touching, that looked like it might have been one of the reset, or one of the point blades that makes one of the reels move. We did play it, but we only played a one-player game. And then I looked around and I found, you know, I noticed this last time, and we talked about it, but I didn't notice that the whole thing is missing from this side, from this score reel. So there's a bunch missing from that, actually, so I'll have to find some parts for that. I may have the parts already. I know I've got a bunch of Bally parts, but I don't know if I have any Williams ones. If I don't, I'll get some. So it needs the relay, it needs there's a piece of the bracket there that it needs. It needs the little end of stroke switch, or actually, looks like it doesn't have one. Basically, it needs whatever this one has that this one doesn't, right? So I'll probably have to order some parts for that, but there's other stuff I got to order as well. And I noticed this piece of paper that they've got up here between the blades, so I don't know what's going on with all that. So anyway, but you know, that was interesting. So I cleaned up this player unit. It's working really good. And then I did find a couple interesting things that I want to look in the schematics for. So one of the things is, on this credit unit here, this is a interesting switch up here. I call this a smash switch. So most of the switches are two blades. So they're either normally like this, and when the relay pulls in or whatever, they close. Or they're normally like this, and when the relay pulls in, they open. Or sometimes you have one that is like this, and when the relay pulls in, it goes like that. A make or break switch. So that's almost all of them. But every once in a while you see these, which is a make switch, which I call a smash switch. Because the way it works is there are three blades, and all three of them just smash together whenever the thing gets actuated. So there is a arm down there, and when it pulls in, it just makes all three of the blades touch. So I call that a smash switch. So I want to look up and see what that does. It's on the credit unit remove credit or subtract coil. And then I worked on this little match unit up here. Now I've showed all of these in countless videos, so that's why I didn't film every little thing of it. But basically, this spins around. And let me get some light on it. I have a love-hate relationship with these LED flashlights. It's too high or too low, folks. It's either too much or it's not enough. So I cleaned up the little reel on the side, or the little board on the side, and when the plunger pulls in, it moves this little bar in the middle, which spins this little horseshoe-shaped thing around. Do I only have one? Where is my second one? Oh, the other one's on the middle. That's right. So the other one's down inside. See it? And so as it spins around, it's touching one of 10 little contacts, which all have a different wire. And they call this the match unit. It's basically what makes you win a free game at the end of the game if you match the last number on the score. Okay? And then this side is the same. So one side lights up the bulb, and the other side makes the math actually work. Okay, so we've done some of those before where they were in the wrong place, and we had to take them off and figure out that the one's upside down or whatever. So the way that works is there is a little coil here, and it pulls this plate in. And when it does, it turns that little wheel. But they also have this awesome little cam here. We're too close, folks. We're too close. We got to go back. It has this awesome little cam here that is either high or low. High, low, high, low. It has little bumps on it, right? And when it does, it moves a blade which touches that other blade. See it just barely moving there? I'll screw the thing up, messing with it. Alright, so it's on or off, on or off. So I want to show you what that does. Why is that little switch on there? So we're going to look in the schematics for that, and also for this smash switch on top of the credit unit. Alright, so here are the schematics. I don't completely understand this circuit. The coin up circuit is the most complex, in my opinion, in any of the games. Because they have to differentiate between a dime, a nickel, a quarter, all that stuff. And you can set it all kinds of different settings. So because of that, this gets real complex. But basically, when you hit the start button, the credit button, if the game is not in the middle of resetting, and if the score motor is not moving, when you hit that, if you are not out of credits, that's that switch we were looking at on the credit unit, and if the game is over, or you are past the first ball, or you are not on player one, coin unit last position break switch, not, I guess that means, I mean, you would think that would be the same as that, but whatever. Whenever you hit the button, it pulls in the credit unit reset. That's the one we were talking about. So the very first thing it does is it takes away a credit. And then that is our smash switch here that we got. That it smashes all together when it does that. Well, then it's going to take the power you were sending it, and it's going to turn on the coin relay. Once it has turned on the coin relay, this switch is going to close in, and presumably this will fall off, so this will no longer be smashed together. So the coin relay will hold itself on through that switch, and the score motor will start turning because the coin relay starts the score motor. Well, it will stay closed until about the 5th position if you look on the map that they show down below. So that's going to, about the 5th position, that switch will open, this will no longer have power, and the coin relay will no longer have power, so it'll turn off. Now what I can't figure out is, I don't know why they use 3 switches. They could have done it with 2 switches, but for whatever reason they have this one in here too, to basically send power this way before the coin relay turns on, which will be just a split-second thing. So I'm not positive why they do that. This here runs down to some scoring for like the 5,000 points and the shooter relay and all this kind of stuff, which is just features of the game. So I don't know why they would need to send power down that way. So I'm not positive. But basically it has something to do with all of this. And it's also, if you look, it's tied into the 5-cent adjustment jack and the 10-cent adjustment jack. This one runs down to the I think the quarter adjustment jack or something. I guess that's that. So it has something to do with how many credits or how many coins it takes to start up the game or something. So that's what that's for. So I don't really completely understand it, but it basically is the physical way that they turn on the coin relay every time the start button is pressed. So well, that's that one. So let's see if I can find the one on the match unit. All right, so here it is. Normally open match alternating switch. Alternating or alternating. Alternative switch. Normally open. That doesn't mean no or number. I don't think. It means normally open. Match alternating switch. That's the switch we were looking at on the match unit. So if it's off, no dice. If it's on, it turns on the change relay. Now if the change relay is off, then the left bottom rollover light and the left bottom rollover light has the potential to come on, and then the right top rollover light, the center jet bumper light, and the left top target light. If the change relay is on, they don't connect over here, and the right bottom rollover light has the potential to be on, as well as the left top rollover light, the left jet bumper light, and the right jet bumper light. So it basically just wags some of the lights back and forth on the playfield. But if it does that, it also has to change the points. So if it says 10 points, 100 when lit, it can't just light up the light. It has to actually change it to where instead of scoring 10, it now scores 100. So it's a neat little trick that they do with that thing. So this change relay, it's one single relay, and it's doing all kinds of stuff. So if it's off, and you hit the center jet bumper, we're going off the page here. It comes up here and it gives you 1,000 points. All right, but if it's on, I did it backwards, I think. If it's on, then you get 100 points, or whatever. I guess it's the other way around. But you see the point. So the change relay is actually, by just having a make and break switch, it either gives you a 10 or 100. And at the same time, it turns on with a separate switch the light, or turns off the light. Okay, and then there's another very complex part here where the same thing with two make or break switches is controlling the right bottom rollover and the left bottom rollover. Right? Depending on how the change relay is, it's either up here or it's down here. It changes which one of these switches works in cahoots with the bonus unit to turn on, or I guess maybe it's to give you a free ball or something. Let's see where this goes. These schematics go all over the place on these later, more complicated games. Yeah, it gives you a free credit. So that's how they've got the special working. So that change relay must have tons of switches on it. So this is it here. We looked at it in the previous video. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 make or break switches on it. And it's able to do all of that with 6 make or break switches. Very cool. Okay, so I'm slowly working through these score reels. This is the one that had all the electrical tape on it. I'm going to try to clean all that up. If I can, I'm going to shorten the line and solder it where it goes. If it's cloth covering that's messed up, I'm going to try to put some heat shrink tubing on it and just make it look a little better. The problem with electrical tape is it falls off eventually. Other than that, I don't really mind it, but that's the deal. So I'm going to see if I can make that look a little better. All right, folks, I was able to cut each one of them and just stretch it a little bit and solder it back on to where the wire is not touching anything and it's all wrapped up. Everything's cool. So I got that taken care of. Then I worked through each one. I worked all the way through. Now, I mentioned earlier, these have 5 on each player. That's too many. You shouldn't do that. They should have went down. They should only have 3 on each player. I don't know why they went the other way. And I worked all through them, and then I worked through these ones. And then I worked through all these ones, and I got to this one that's all messed up. So they started parting this baby. It's horrible. It's horrible. It shouldn't be like this, but Notice nothing is burnt up here. So they're parting this thing out, man. It didn't catch on fire or nothing. You know, it's not like that coil burnt up. Nah, they just stole it. That ain't right. Oh, by the way, that one up there that had been taped, look at the wood above it. So you know what happened there? It did catch on fire. That's why they changed it. But this one they didn't. So it's missing the coil, and I just noticed it's missing the plunger. That's even worse, really. But it's missing the plunger, and it's missing the little bracket. But then I looked in the bottom, and I found the bracket. So I've got the bracket. Now, I will give them credit for this. They took the 2 screws that hold on the bracket, and they put them in the side of the plate. So all I'm missing is the coil and the plunger. So I might have one. I'm going to look through my extensive pile of parts, my patented pile of parts, and see if I've got either one of those. So I need the coil, which is a 26-800. Is that what it says? Yes. 26-800, that's 26 gauge wire wrapped around it 800 times. I need that, and I need the plunger thing that goes in there. The 2 springs are there. So we about got it. Alright, so I found all the stuff that I needed, and in the end, boom, all I really needed was the plunger. Because the coil was inside of it too. But that's a replacement one. See how it doesn't have the Williams logo on it or anything? So somebody obviously knew that was a problem and had ordered the stuff. They probably just misplaced the plunger because that never gets screwed up. So, but I had another one. So no big deal. Very minor problem. And it looks like everything's working cool. So that would be our last score reel. So before we test that, I think what I'll do, because it's getting late. It's getting late. Let's have Joey come in tomorrow and clean up the playfield. Yeah, he's real quick with that. He moves like 8 times faster than I do. So we'll see how he does with the playfield, and then we'll go from there.
Doing crazy
All right, we'll check all that out here in a minute. But let's see, we haven't reset our score reels yet. So when I turn it on, they may automatically reset. Sometimes it does. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see what he did here. All looks pretty good. We chose not to repaint that part of the playfield because it's so minor. It's not that big of a deal. All of this looks pretty good. There is a crack here in the plastic. We may be able to get a replacement one of those or find him somebody that's got one. But I think it cleaned up very nice. The lights bounce back and forth, so whenever you turn on the change relay, it'll show over to that other part that we were talking about earlier. It'll put those bulbs on instead of that other one. All right, so I'm going to try to start it, and we'll see if it resets every one of the score reels. It should, but you usually have one or two that are still hanging. You have to adjust a little bit. Our new one's hanging. I wonder if they took it apart because they didn't think, they thought the coil was messed up. Uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh. A mystery. A mystery is afoot. Okay, so for that to turn, you have to have a good coil, but the switch on the score reel has to be adjusted properly. to be closed until it gets to 0, and then it opens. So if it's closed, the power runs through it and keeps pulsing it until it gets to 0. But then also, the reset relay, the little leg that sends the power over to that, has to be making good contact. So there's probably, I'm going to guess it's the pin on the reset relay, because I just looked at the 2 switches on the score reel, so I think they're fine. So the reset relay is over in this area. I did clean those, but I'm going to guess the switch that's responsible for pulsing that is messed up. Let's see if we can find it. So this is how it resets it. The reset relays, there are 3 actually on this game. Usually there's only 2 on the Bally's, but this is a Williams. So there's 3 reset relays that all they do is reset the scores. Okay? And one of them is right here. It's our very last one. The 4th player 100,000 point drum unit. That's the one we're having problems with. So there is an orange and white wire that I just soldered to the new coil that goes up to a switch and also goes to the 9th position switch on the 10,000 point drum unit. So the only way to score 100,000 points is if the 10,000 point unit tells you to. There's nothing on the playfield that actually scores 100,000 points. So there's no 100,000 point relay. So you either carry it from the 9th position. So basically when this one gets to 90,000, the next time you score 10,000 points, there is a 9th position switch that closes. And so the next time you score 10,000 points, you also score 100,000 points. But the 90,000 turns to 0,000. So that's just how it works. So we need to make sure that that the coil is good. It was brand new. I didn't check it. It looked fine. We need to make sure that I've got a good connection to all the other ones are working. So if this one is connected well to the one next to it, which would be the 10,000 point drum unit, well then you know that's a good connection to there, right? And if I check from here across the coil, it should measure what the coil next to it measures. You got to make sure these switches are open when you do that, though, so you're not testing other things in the wiring diagram. So the coil should test the same as the other ones, or similar. And then when I close this switch, I should be able to check continuity from the orange and white wire to the red and green wire. So when the reset relay pulses, if you're not at 0, this switch is closed. And every time it pulses, it will send juice and pull in that coil. That coil is not pulling in. So it's either not connected here, the coil itself is bad, this switch is bad, or this switch is bad. And by bad, I mean not making good connection. So you can test that by closing any of those. Like, since we're not at 0, this should be closed as it sits. So if I check from the red and green wire to the orange and white wire, I should have continuity to check that switch. And I'm just going to work through it like that until I can figure out where the problem is. It could be a broken wire, too. This red and green wire could be screwed up somewhere. All right, so I think it actually was the switch on the score reel. So I did just adjust it. But, you know, sometimes you miss one. It needed cleaned more than I thought. If the coil did burn up, whenever that happened, it probably ran a lot of amps through that contact and pitted it more than the others. So let's see if that's fixed it or if we got room to go here. Perfect. All right, very cool. Okay, so we're not out of the woods yet, though. Oh, let me show you the lights on Joey's little cleanup here. How do we? I don't want to. There you go. So now those are on, and that one's on instead of that one. We're not out of the woods yet here. We still got some stuff to do. I got to work on the coin door a little bit. He would like for it to take quarters, and there's some stuff missing from it. We need to... the flipper had an issue. The plungers were worn slapped crap out. We need to rebuild the flippers. We need to work on the poor spinner. There's a spring missing from it. So there's still plenty to do. And then I'm going to play it a little bit because I have never played this game. I love this era of machines, so I'll enjoy that, I'm sure. So we've got that left. So there's still a little bit left to do. But I hope you enjoyed it so far. Hopefully somebody's learning something or at least enjoying something. So we will see you on the next video where we'll work through it a little more and hopefully be able to finish it up. Hey, you want to know how you can help our channel? If you have anything you're going to buy on Amazon, particularly for maybe Christmas, are you the type that likes to give Christmas presents? Well, if you look down below the video, there is a link to Amazon from our videos. If you follow that link, it doesn't charge you anymore. You don't have to sign up for anything, nothing like that. You just click over to Amazon using that link, and then that notifies Amazon that we sent you there. And so they give us a tip for sending you there if you purchase anything at the same price. They don't raise the prices or anything. You can check that out if you don't believe me. But we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And then last but not least, don't forget to check out my brother Donnie. My brother Donnie has his own channel here on YouTube as well. The link is also down below the video, as well as the a link to the music that you just heard whenever Joey was cleaning the pinball machine. But there's a link to my brother Donnie. The channel is called My Brother Donnie, and we work on old pinballs, arcade games, and jukeboxes. My brother Donnie works on old vehicles, old buildings, things like that. So go over there and check out his channel. I'm over there with him on the channel a lot. So I will see you over there, and I will see you back here next time when hopefully we can get this thing buttoned up.